Well, thank you everybody for coming tonight, this beautiful afternoon here in Carbondale. And let's go ahead and do our roll call. And we'll start with you, Dan.
Here.
Dan is here. Joanne.
Present.
And Carrie.
Present.
Me, Lisa, and Sam.
Present.
Is. Okay, so we have a quorum if we need to vote on anything tonight. And if we can all just take a look at our minutes from the previous meeting, which was March 21st. If you have already looked at them, great. We did quite a bit of discussion last time. Sam, I don't know if you were on, but we did quite a bit of a discussion last time on the aquatic center plan and our draft. So do you have any comments on that, or do you want? I don't think we're going to talk about it tonight, but hold on.
No, I just saw that there was some talks about some moving some trees, and I just wonder if like the age of them and size of them is all. And
okay, so we can't change up the minutes that we have, but we could go to an open floor
no
if
problem.
just to kind of make sure we bring in your comments. Does that sound good?
Nah, no problem.
Okay, great. Is there anything that we need adjusted on the minutes?
Yeah, I would like to, on the dandelion and Arbor Day planning, taking photos of the drawing recipients' trees. We don't care about the trees. To put the photos of the trees that the people won,
okay,
where they are, and not the photos of the people.
Is this a change to?
It's in the second paragraph.
Oh, I see here. Suggested taking photos.
Yes.
And okay, so what is it you want changed in that, Joanne?
She just wants to add the word trees.
Oh, yeah, the drawing recipients' trees.
Oh, gotcha. Okay,
yes.
Super. Thank you. Okay, anything else for our minutes? We're ready to vote on that? Okay, I would like to ask for a motion to approve our minutes.
I will move to approve.
Thank you. Okay, thank you very much.
Bye.
Moving on. Our agenda tonight, we do not have anybody joining us from the town. So we'll move past that. We'll move right into our action items. And our first bullet item is successful holiday lighting tips. Joanne, was that? I think that was one that you brought to the agenda. Sam did. Oh, okay. Sam.
Hi there.
Hi.
I had some ideas about some of the Christmas lighting. I've seen some landscaping lights that have been done from the ground, and it turned out looking really, really good. And I think that it would hit all of the main points that are obstacles while doing it. The time, labor, who's actually qualified to do it. I was speaking with another arborist in town, and they said that they pointed at some mechanical damage sometimes, or the actual cost of the lights themselves. I've hung lights, and you're just constantly buying new lights, I feel like, because they're just not a very good quality product. But yeah, so the lights from the ground would be able to be made so a volunteer could put them in. You could either have them year round, or you could remove them and just keep them just for the winter, just for Christmas. it would make it so Carl would have more time to do other things, so it would save on that labor. And they look really good because they can be all different colors. And I just feel like it would save on a lot of the resources.
So I actually last winter I asked Kevin, I had a similar idea about lighting up like the big Siberian elm in a plaza and also the big poplar in front of the smithy because the chamber, you know, used to do those and then they for whatever reason the chamber decided not to pay to have those done. So Kevin was like, okay, can you do the one in the plaza? And I asked Kevin, I was like, hey, could we like shoot lights up into the trees?
Yeah,
And
it looks really
Kevin,
good.
yeah, because I've seen some stuff online. It looks really cool. Kevin told me that it would likely be a dark sky. There's like issues with dark sky shooting lights straight up
Okay, that's
um,
fair.
for our town. However,
It's
you
fair.
know, there could be other.
Smaller versions, maybe, like for each of these little trees that they're not exactly very large trees, and it's in between the buildings. These are roadside trees, so if they were smaller lights, the buildings would block that light pollution. I feel like if the right lights were used. Just ideas. I'm not. Uh, I think it can look really good. I saw it at one point, and um, yeah, yeah. Anyhow, just food for thought.
Yeah, and you know, I wonder if there's a way we could wonder is can you shoot them down? And I mean, maybe it doesn't
Yes.
work if you shoot them down into a tree, but
Hmm. Fair.
It's
because
called moonlighting. It's
moonlighting.
called moonlighting. There's a dark skies initiative and there's a downlighting only kind of initiative. You could
I
always
understand.
put headlights on there too, which are extremely bright and everywhere.
But you know, there could be something to explore still, you know, if we could figure out how to shoot them down. I mean, I think particularly on like like the big elm in the plaza or something.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's no, yeah, I hear you for sure. I think about that stuff too.
That could also be a good security lighting concept because this town's streets are dark to walk down, even Main Street. So if you had some downlighting where the ice rink goes, which coincides, that could be a good thing, in my
Right,
opinion.
Exactly.
for the
Agree.
Chacos Park. Yeah, through that planning.
Multi-purpose. Multi-purpose.
I, I'm in favor of not having the lights be up in the trees themselves because we know the damages and the reality of it too. We probably are going to within the next 2 or 3 years are going to lose all our trees on Main Street anyway.
They're not looking good.
They're all dying.
They're all dying. Yes.
So we need to come up with a different plan. You know, it's amazing that we could keep the electricity going to light trees, but we couldn't keep the irrigation going. So it's you know, we have a real problem on Main Street.
Yeah.
I hear you. I hear you.
And that, but I agree with your thoughts and stuff, Sam. I actually fought against them putting any electricity along there to light up any of those trees and that and when it originally happened long time ago. But I agree that the damage to the trees far outweighs. Although 1 year it did save some of the trees because the Christmas lights were on, and right across from Peppino's Pizza, those 4 or 5 trees right there, someone came through in the night and yanked all the branches down that they could reach. And the only reason they couldn't rip them off the tree is because they had Christmas lights on them. But
would you look at that?
You know, and that's one of the things. We want to have any of those branches be above 8 feet. So that, you know, because drunks can't jump that high. So it's
Yeah.
Dan, you haven't been out.
At least a good percentage of them.
But anyway, your idea is well thought, I think, and we can maybe suggest some better lighting plans.
Yeah, so like in the plaza this winter, I put those kind of bulb things instead of, that I just kind of hung in the trees instead of wrapping them all the way up. And
That's fun.
That was a lot easier.
You could do it with a throw line even. I mean,
right, yep. So that was easier for in the plaza. But yeah, a lot of the downtown trees, their health is really not great. That'll be EAB has really been dominating, a lot of what I'm doing, but we have some work to do down there. Actually, as we started taking, I'll try to keep this short tangent, but as we started taking some of those out a few months ago, I was looking at the tree rings, and you could see clearly how at a certain point, all the ones we took out, the rings just got smaller and smaller and smaller. So for many years they've just been declining, obviously, as we all know, but you could see it in the tree rings. And it was kind of interesting. So I had Ali she did some observations and did a little study on it, because you hear a lot of different things like, oh, well, trees and grates only 10 years or no, 15 years. That's all you're getting, up 20. That's all you're going to get. Of course, there's a lot of different factors, but I just kind of was curious, like I want to see if there's a correlation, like how many years we're getting out of at least our trees here in our grates. And then maybe that can help us to look into infrastructure for the future to kind of say, hey, if we put them in a similar kind of, smaller area, we may get only a similar amount of time frame out of the trees. Maybe we could look at some different infrastructure, more kind of space for the roots and stuff. But that's a future big thing to dive into. So I'll just stop right there.
Thank you, Carl. I keep going.
I'm wondering, do we want to either we can have more discussion on it, start thinking about how we might want to give Carl a position statement on the tree lighting so that he can take that to the town? Would that be beneficial?
I mean, it's something worth it. Just keep exploring, other options that just to try, and different things that can work within our dark sky,
Right. And we can, like I say, we can tie this together with the health of those trees on Main Street. And we can work with the Historic Commission and stuff like that, because there's huge grants that are available that we could redo Main Street. The town can redo Main Street. It's just not the tree board, so that it could be a comprehensive plan all the way around. Instead of just picking it, saying, oh, well, lighting, it's not really the lighting. It's the fact that we're not going to have any trees.
Yeah, that's going to be the main issue.
I mean,
yeah.
Those trees have been replaced. 4 or 5 of those trees have been replaced at least 3 times in 20 years.
Wow. And the few I've taken out, like I could, the few I've taken out, like I could replace them, but I don't want to put a lot of energy into replacing if we think we could make better places for them to live.
Well, yeah, it's part of our problem is delivery trucks are just shaving off one side of the trees. There's many things.
Yeah,
and the lighting's really part of it, Sam, and that's great that you bring that up. I think maybe we need to be more comprehensive about what can be done.
Yeah.
And I think a thought as well, because we found the weak link in the chain. Okay, you tell me, and it's been redone 3 times. So as arborists, we find the weak link in the chain. Okay, so what are we putting the tree into the ground with? That's one, the tree itself, and then just as importantly as the tree planting is the tree watering. And so we found recently the weak link in the chain was the irrigation systems. Okay, so one thought, an idea, a physical person that waters these on a watering plan, even that makes it so it can't be messed up. It is very simple. You can get one of these water cubes. I'm working on a 125 tree planting project for an HOA, and in that project, it is just as important. It's only it's about 60/40 of the overall price of it to be watering. Because why would you invest this much money, time, resources, and then it just dies? So there's ways to navigate that to make it affordable. I'm not, there are these, I'm sure you have breweries around you. They have these water totes. There's sub pumps from Harbor Freight. There's a generator, very affordable Honda generator that you can do, and then just a watering truck.
We've got
And
that.
He's
We've got
got that.
so and it doesn't have to be skilled labor that does this. And there is the fast way of just water cannoning it. There's a company here that does, or it's a non-for-profit, Keep Indianapolis Beautiful. And I just saw them today, just water cannoning, and it just blows out the soil from the roots. But they've got so many to do. But nonetheless, the fact, my a mentor of mine has done studies on planting trees. She's the tree planting guru, and the ways that I have learned from her is these watering buckets. And it may seem inefficient, or what it is the right way to do it. And it's a slow drip essentially, with like 5-gallon buckets with holes drilled in them. So you
Is that
just
like a
essentially
tree gator?
essentially, but
Okay.
more affordable. You can get them from restaurants, old pickle buckets with
Okay,
holes
well,
drilled in the
we're
bottom.
talking about Main Street. That's not going to fly
Oh,
for
I'm
the
sorry.
aesthetics of
Absolutely.
it. Maybe if
But
we're
it-
doing outlying areas, you be able to get away with it. And then the
But
other
it's
thing,
really quick. It's like while the
yeah,
truck is still there almost. It's like they're just around the truck as it's going. It's like a slow drip though, but not very long. I mean, minutes.
huh?
So
That's
it's
a
a
mobile
thought.
unit you're talking about, not leaving it in place.
Yeah, they're
Huh.
buckets, and I mean you can get food grade buckets. This can look professional. I don't think it looks that bad if you're not leaving it overnight. You're just doing a
Okay.
leapfrog of these buckets for like a couple minutes. And this is the way we do it at the Arboretum here in a cemetery and Arboretum. It is we are doing it the right way. People come here with their families to grieve for their loved ones. We have a president buried here, but a bucket for just a couple minutes isn't too much I
I see what
think.
you're saying.
Of course,
Um,
we do have a cemetery for trees on Main Street.
Yes, we do.
I mean, those trees are they're in the wrong place. They're in the middle of the friggin' sidewalk, to put it very bluntly. And that people abuse them, and they're in the way. They really don't contribute to our Main Street at all.
I can see that.
It's sounding to me, we have that that we are ready to give the trustees a position statement on this. Because we've talked about the trees that they are declining. They weren't planted properly at the time.
Well, they were planted properly, but they were planted in the wrong place.
Okay, that's kind of what I mean.
Vince Urbina oversaw the planting of those trees. They were planted properly. The irrigation died out. Trees got run over by cars, trucks hit them, this, that, the other thing. It was just an overall poor plan.
Okay.
We talked several years ago, Dan and I and someone else, we went on a tree walk down Main Street. And one of the things we talked about was these bulb out units that we pull the sidewalk out so that I don't even know why. And then people park. And we talked about making a slightly raised planter, maybe a foot taller, and planting several things in an area instead of one and one and one and one, because that doesn't get appreciated. All anybody wants to do is drive up. So if you were able to group plantings in places that they would have some safety in numbers, they would have more of a statement. Maybe you put a little gathering where you're going to put bike parking. We put bike parking out in the summertime. That could be a possible option to do. But instead of one and one and one and one, maybe put a group and a group and a group. and solve a problem that way and keep it green. And in relation to when you're looking at tree rings, we've had a variety of drought years, but we've also had a variety of non-irrigation years. And I was wondering if you could track a wet year with, well, maybe it got better in 2019 because it rained a little bit more, when 2018 and 2020 were fire years.
Yeah, we didn't.
Because it was just rainfall.
Yeah, Ali didn't correlate it to weather, but theoretically you could. You know, some of those trees are in, I mean, they're all in grades, but they might be in, sun may hit them at different times of the day or something. So it's hard to say how consistent, if you could see any trends, but I think mainly what we're seeing is at a certain point, they just all really started declining. Or you could kind of see how they're, we're putting together a whole presentation that we can bring that to present to our tree board. And we're also going to present it to the CAMI's, the state group, you know, of just kind of, it's a lot of Western Slope kind of arborist. So we'll have more about that. But the final thing I'll say about this, I was talking to someone from the Colorado Tree Coalition a couple of months ago, and it's kind of like, yeah, okay, our downtown trees and grades, yeah, it's not looking good. We're gonna have to do something. And he used to be the arborist somewhere in the Front Range, and he was like, oh yeah, he's like, trees and grades, you know, they can get not enough water, or you can water them too much, or, you know, not even know. And he was like saying, yeah, some of those I just started watering them. You know, I would have like a water truck water them or something, so that you know for sure it's getting watered, and at least do that for like 3 years. And then, you know, once they get really established, so there might be, you know, we can break open all kinds of ideas once we really want to break into that project.
That's where I'm wondering.
To make a statement.
I think we're at a point, it sounds like from this board that we're ready to make a position statement, not tonight.
No,
but we're ready to work on that.
And thanks, Sam, for bringing up about lighting the trees, because it opened it all up.
It's a bigger thing.
Do you want me to start writing something up like I did for the?
I think, yeah, if you don't mind getting.
Oh, I don't mind at all.
Sam, I think, you know.
I think Sam brought up the good points, and I think it brought up this other stuff. The original money that that paid for that was a grant. It was a large grant. It was over $200,000 for downtown historic areas. So that stuff is still open. If we go back and say, okay, we got to do this again. So, okay, I'll work on something like that. Have something.
And some of that, obviously, there's a lot of ash trees in there too. Some of them may not make it very much longer, you know.
In the plaza.
Yeah. We'll see how they look this spring. I mean, they're to be treated, but there's going to be opportunities, I think.
Since there are no absolutes, I recall a statistic that was handed to us that the average street tree in an urban setting, which is what this is 8 years.
Yeah,
so we're right on track.
I hear a lot of
Yes. And, you know, when we had the guy from Basalt in here, and he was talking about how the entire town is an arboretum, maybe we should investigate that a bit and see about putting all different kinds of trees out, because the jury is out on what tree will work well here. You have things that we bet everything on ash trees in the West, and now we're losing 10 to 20% of our tree canopy in urban forests in Colorado because it worked, and now it doesn't because of a pest. So if we could look at, we're looking at different elm trees like the Liberty elm, things like that, and be able to demonstrate, because the population is new, the urbanization is new, we're planting in really extreme unforgiving environments and expecting a whole lot of payout. So maybe turning it into an arboretum and showing people how things work and survive could be a good tie-in for all of this.
Yeah, and Chris in Basalt, he used to work for an arboretum in Chicago or something. So he's super in. He's always trying new stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So we could actually, anytime we want, we could go and hang out with Chris and walk around with him and kind of be like, oh, this is really working. Or, well, this one didn't work at all.
Well, they have interesting things like he has signs, please don't park over me in that Willits area. And the trees are close to the buildings, right. But they're apart. And so what's successful? What can take repeated bashing from something, for example? So, I just thought that was a very interesting thing. That town is pretty diverse. He's got the food forest. He's got a lot of plant select in there. He's got Willets. He's got a lot of old growth. He's got new things. He's dealing with the Midland Avenue project, which has a streetscape involved. So it'd be interesting to maybe adopt that, see what they do and look at that.
Maybe this can be a part of a multi-step plan, even bigger plan. I mean, we don't have to side go too far off, but with the IRA grant, which is partnering with government communities, with the planting of the trees from those grants, you could do a very, very diverse tree planting, and then that opens the world of arboretum. And then with arboretum, I've been watching my friend turn this cemetery into an arboretum, and with that was the first step, and then a avalanche of other grants were opened for tree work around the cemetery, the cemetery arboretum, to tree planting, so I'm just thinking of it as a multi-step plan, and it seems like one thing leads to another on this.
Yeah, things can't be the way they were. It doesn't work in a motor vehicle culture the way things have been. Street trees used to be around everywhere, and we haven't planted them in decades.
Oh yeah, I definitely want to work towards like a bigger canopy plan. That's the goal. It might take a while, but because we're starting with updating our inventory. That's the first thing.
Thanks, Sam.
I believe that I'm sorry to interrupt you. I believe that the IRA grant also covers inventory and GES. There's many different parts of the grant going on. So it sounds like it's right up what Carbondale could really use.
Yes. Okay. So update on the IRA Inflation Act stuff. So we just I had a meeting with Cami with the Colorado group, Western Slope. And there was some money that came out in 2023 and those grants closed. Now they've given also the state money, like a lot of states money for the state to disperse, like for the Colorado State Forest Service to disperse. But so, but they're only, that money, at least right now, is only available to towns that are in more, financial need, that have been identified kind of as like communities maybe that don't have an arborist or any kind of budget. The state has kind of broken it down. Anyhow, the way it works out, we can't go for that money in Colorado, at least the money that's coming through the state, through the IRA, because we're not a disadvantaged community or whatever she was calling it. Nobody in this valley.
Great, this is true.
Understood.
But that doesn't mean there's still in the past grant, Glenwood Springs got a lot of money in the 2023. So that doesn't mean there could be something that still comes up in the future.
Did they get federal money or state money?
It's federal money, okay. But that was a 2023 one.
But it was direct.
There's another one coming up in May.
Another one? Okay. And that's probably, I don't know if that's the one that the state is doing, or it could be a separate federal one. So there could be other stuff. Yeah, Sam, keep us in the loop. If you know specifics about what types of communities, or if it's, per state thing, or if it's just anybody can keep us in the loop for sure.
So that 125 tree planting project that I'm doing right now, it is in an HOA community, so it's not necessarily disadvantaged. But the way that my grant writing mentor, the way that they explained it to me is even though that community isn't in a disadvantaged area, it doesn't mean that that community can't partner up with a government agency. So we're going to partner up with the city of Greenwood. Okay. And the city of Greenwood, if they would like to, then we can file for it together. And then it shows that we're a community that is willing to put money into it to a point would they like to add to it. And Greenwood is interested as well in taking part. So if it's the partnership part that makes it possible is the way that I've heard it said. So maybe if you were to do a partnership with Glenwood Springs, or I'm not sure, if you were to file for it together, it would make it that that is something that they would consider because you're going to be spending the money doing it one way or another in some way or another. So if the fact that you're a community that is being proactive and already going to put money towards it, they might match it or something like that. And if they already awarded it to Glenwood, if you guys partnered up with it and wrote the grant together, anyways, that's the way that it's been explained to me that there's possibilities.
Yeah, I'll keep my eye out for it for sure. If there's anything
Glenwood's
new,
grant is like a 5-year.
something like that, 4 or 5 year.
It's like a 5-year program, X amount of money, X amount of money. They have to progressively do things.
Yep, and Glenwood, Heather down there, she's in a position where they're now taking more ownership of their right-of-way trees. In the past, they didn't do anything. I think it was just the responsibility of the homeowner. But now they're having more. The town's putting more management, so they have a cost share thing now for their right-of-way trees. So their program is like totally changing and growing.
Understood.
That's kind of what's going on down there. But yeah, I'll definitely keep us updated.
Understood.
I'll keep my eye out for stuff too. Yeah.
Arbor Day.
Okay. So I do think I do want to just kind of wrap up that earlier discussion. I do hear from this group that we are going to begin some work on a position statement with regards to the downtown canopy, and that will be a part of some of the presentation you might do later on in the year with the trustees on bigger and better ideas.
Budget.
I think that would be great.
Yeah. Okay.
Antecedent to the budget.
Yes. So we have a timeline on that. Probably 3 to 4 months.
They're looking for the budget.
They're
working. What, Kate?
July, August.
July, August.
Okay.
They finalize it in September usually, don't they?
Yeah.
Okay. So we have some things that we want to get pulled together. I was going to say with that Glenwood experience, with that cost sharing, only because I know of an individual who has been presented with, the city's perspective of what the homeowner should participate in. It may be just kind of not really the best received kind of concept.
Interesting.
Because it's not that every homeowner wants to participate in the cost sharing of a town-owned tree.
Right.
So just kind of keeping that in mind.
So it's not like they have to.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So some folks are kind of, this one person anyway was kind of seeing that as a, just another, thing that the town or the city was actually pushing down on them. So just consider that as we go forward with our ideas.
Yeah. No, that is interesting. It'll be interesting to hear feedback too, from other people and from Heather. She's working through building that program, and there's a lot of trees that need work. So that's interesting feedback.
Okay, on to Arbor Day and Dandelion Day final planning. And let's see, who's thinking they want to be a volunteer this year for both?
I'm not available either
days, okay. And just to iterate, our Arbor Day is the 4th of May. Dandelion Day is the 11th of May. The Arbor Day activity this year, last year we had the planting over at the
Thompson.
yes, thank you very much. What do we have an activity planned for this year?
A tree planting. So just update. Eagle Crest wants to donate a tree for our Arbor Day, and I said yes. So we have a free tree to plant for Arbor Day. I'm gonna go pick it out tomorrow. But originally I was thinking we could do it right here from these trees that were removed here in front of Town Hall. However, I'm looking at that sidewalk and it's all kind of cattywampus. I'm thinking, oh, we may want to do something to the sidewalk, so maybe we don't put a tree there right away. But we have some other opportunities in parks, Giannetti Park, Colorado Meadows. Colorado Meadows might be the best one because Giannetti Park has the disc golf course, and we might get, on a Saturday, people out there. Yeah. So Colorado Meadows might be the best. There's an ash that I had removed there that we could replace in that kind of general vicinity. But that's kind of my thinking.
In the senior housing?
Colorado Meadows Park. That's over by on Merle.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, kind of like the cemetery. It's a little secret
we haven't
park.
done anything over there.
It's kind of a secret little park.
Yeah. It's a nice park.
So that could be a fun one, I think.
Would we dedicate this tree to Vince?
Be nice
overlook.
We could.
That overlooks the nature park, right?
Yeah.
And I've done a lot of legwork on the memorial tree program, and I just have not gotten it to you guys yet because there's been so many things. I have a lot of ideas on that, how we could kind of work that a little bit better. We certainly could do it for Vince. When I think of Vince, I think of in terms of something that'd be cool to do for Vince. Last Arbor Day, after most everybody was gone, it was just me, Vince, and Cammie. And Vince was like,
yeah,
oh, what tree is that? There's a cool looking tree next to the house. Let's go look at that tree. And I was like, okay, cool. So we look at it and we're looking at it. It's like, this is a different tree. I don't see this tree around here a lot. This is kind of cool. And I think he thought it was an arborvitae, or I think that's what we had decided it was an arborvitae. Wow, and we're kind of like, that's kind of interesting. And Vince being Vince, he was like, you used to try to, propagate this or grow it from seed or something and plant some more. That'd be kind of cool. That would be the coolest Vince activity. I mean, I don't know how to do that kind of stuff with trees.
I've got a raised bed that we could, if we can get some seeds, we can try.
Yeah, I don't know what time of year I don't know that tree and how we would go through that process. But that would be super cool, Vince activity, I think, just because I have that really cool memory.
Would it be something that we could do for this year?
Well, not for this year. No. I just kind of got on a tangent about Vince there. Not for this year, but
that likes a way moister environment than we're used to. Arborvitae.
Yeah. But anyhow,
you know what I've seen in Aspen recently is yew tree, and they were brought in and planted. And I'm going to watch them to see, because that's a really bright green if you're in a good microclimate. If you have a good microclimate that has some shade and some consistent moisture, soil moisture, that could be a cool little assemblage.
When I was in Oregon, they had the Pacific yew.
And they've got those really cool berries on them. I mean, they're really bright, springy, like springy trees, spring back, not spring the season.
But coming back to, okay, so if we want to do a memorial tree for Vince, I guess I'm just saying I don't have a system yet to really, when it comes down to it, it sounds like most people that I've had this conversation with say that we should create a digital interactive map that can be accessed as its own standalone thing, like on a website. Memorial trees, boom, you get on it. You can see where all our memorial trees are, interactive, and you can click on it, point, see what tree it is, who it's memorial for. And that way we don't have the issues with the plaques on the trees falling off, getting vandalized, and all that stuff. And then I've also seen other towns do a thing where they'll pick a central location, a public central location, and maybe they'll have plaques there or something, or it could be like little leaves on a tree, and it could be just a, you know, plaques, leaves on a tree, like something like that, or a central physical location too. I mean, I have a lot of ideas. I haven't gotten them to you. I'm talking about them now, I guess, but.
So are we gonna use Arbor Day though to sign up people to do the inventory?
Yes, that too. Yep. Okay. I can do a little I'll do a little demonstration. Yeah, I'll have some marketing for that, for the.
And then the next weekend is Dandelion Day.
Mhm.
If we have a booth there, we can have the same thing, sign people up.
Yep. I'll get a pamphlet, like some info about that. And I was thinking Arbor Day too, I could, you know, we could just do a demonstration of would be kind of the process, measuring a tree, and we're looking at these different things, and it's kind of data that we want to gather just to do a demonstration on Arbor Day.
Would you do that as a part of the planting of the donated tree?
Well, yeah, so I could do the, you know, we always do the how to plant a tree,
Right.
you know, Arbor Day, and then I could talk about the tree inventory volunteer program, and just how it works and what, you know, people would be doing. And yeah.
So the 4th, and then, so we need to get an ad in the Sopra Sun soon.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay, I'll get Margaret Mathers to make up an ad.
Yeah. And I've been in contact with Rowley about doing an article for EAB and stuff, but yeah.
Okay.
Well, we can, yeah, work on that.
Now the important things, coffee and donuts.
Oh, yeah.
I won't be here.
I'll be here. We could.
Yeah. Did we purchase coffee and donuts? Were they donated?
They were donated.
No. Yeah.
Bonfire donated the coffee and whatnot last year.
Okay.
So you have to go in there and fill out a form.
And then someone.
Yeah, and I wrote a little note, like, please, would you like to donate for this? And they're like, here, just fill out this form.
Will you be able to do it again?
I'm not going to be here to pick it up.
Well, we can pick it up if you want to do the application.
I don't think I have enough time because I'm leaving too soon. My
so
apologies.
That's fine. It's just an application.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you go in and talk to them, and they'll ask you, what do you need? You know, coffee, the sugars, how many cups, etc. Yeah.
Okay. Any expectation on number of people? 20?
Yeah.
You know, last year we had a lot for the memorial trees, but you know.
Yeah, we could. I mean, we can go drum up, knock on doors in the neighborhood. Yeah, really. I mean, well, and it's a nice park. It really is. It is a cool park. A lot of people don't know it's there. It is a really nice little park.
Yeah. Well, and you always make a flyer. You know, we can put our flyers up.
We have an ad in the paper for Arbor Day, and that keep pushing this thing, and maybe get a PSA on KDNK and about Arbor Day, and describing that we're going to be starting a summer-long tree inventory. We're looking for volunteers.
When you say a PSA, is it going to be one of the disc jockeys that reads it off, or do we?
Yeah, it becomes one of their regular things they keep bombarding people with. It's fine. They do a great job. They do a great job.
Do we want to write a script for it, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay. We would like to write the script.
I'm out.
I'll do it because I'm going to do the poster, so I'll have that, and Carl can talk to Raleigh about getting the ad in the paper. Okay. Margaret Mathers has helped us in the past with the poster and that. So.
And then delivering the script to KDNK.
Yeah, I can take care of that.
So so I'll do the.
They'll be happy to see that instead of a bill coming from me for other stuff. That sounds good.
Then, what time? What is the time?
Oh, don't we usually do it 10? That's when we used to do it, right?
Yeah, 10 o'clock.
10 to noon or 10 to 11:30?
What do you have 11:30, I guess? That's probably what we do.
10 to noon.
Or noon, 10 to noon, 10 to noon.
10 to noon, okay.
I have something that didn't make it here. I thought that I sent something.
If the packet has already been out, I don't usually go back and.
Okay, I thought I sent it in time, but I guess I'm wrong.
No, I don't think I got your email till late in the afternoon.
Really? Okay. I thought I sent it way earlier than that. But I have something I want to bring up about the pool when you're done.
Just real quick. Eagle Crest
Yes.
is donating the tree?
They're donating a tree. Yep. I'm going to go. They apparently they got a bunch of trees in now. So I'm going to go there tomorrow and pick it out. And I'm looking at trees for just various parks too, replacing ashes that I've had removed. So there'll be about 10 or 15 I'm going to try to do this spring.
So do we, I mean, in the past, we've sometimes done more than one location for planting.
For an Arbor Day?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I mean, it's a little tight for time right now since it's May 4th, but is there the possibility that we could be showing a replacement of ash trees that were cut in the parks? Maybe that would be a better, from a standpoint for the town presenting to the public that, look, we had to remove these trees because of emerald ash borer.
Right.
We're replacing these trees and kind of show that we're being proactive about the fact that we're just not going to let it go for, until we decide, well, we need some trees here.
Okay. So what I'm hearing, I could create a document or something to have, is this to have at Dandelion Days? Or just to talk to people
like
at Arbor?
No, planting trees.
For planting trees, like for Arbor Day. So what parks have you cut trees down in?
Oh, all over the place. I just started making a list today of tree planting and thinking about species and stuff and seeing what I can at least do this spring. I mean, like Miners Park, Gianetti, Colorado Meadows. There's a couple at the 3rd Street Center.
You took one out in Sopris, right?
There's some that came out in Sopris, but they were all suppressed. So we don't necessarily need more trees where they came from.
Okay.
There's a couple on the green, kind of that Hendrick green belt area next to the big ditch.
Right.
There's some over by the dog. There's one over by the dog.
Maybe Colorado Meadows.
Well, I think for Arbor Day, it would be simplistic just to do, just one at Colorado Meadows. But I hear what you're saying though about just getting out to the public though, that I am replacing a bunch of other ones in the spring, in May. I'll do it in May at some point,
But maybe, I know it's tougher plan it later in June or July, but maybe we could have another planting ceremony, that would be additional to Arbor Day, that's replacing the emerald ash borer trees.
We could, I mean, depending on what's available tomorrow, I mean, I might be able to just pick out, however many, I don't remember, it was like 12 or something. I started making a list today. I might be able to pick them all out. Now that would be too many to do on one day.
Right. No, it's
for us, but
I mean, like at 3rd Street Center, we planted 7, 8 trees at one Arbor Day. But they were almost all of them were memorial trees, either for living or dead. Either or. There were a lot of people there. The people that had donated them, cost shared on the trees, were all there. So it was all a lot of hands-on type thing. But what I'm getting at is, from a standpoint of the town of us presenting this replacement of these trees, maybe we will have another planting in June on a weekend.
When is the confab to try to recruit people to the boards. Is that in May?
Mm.
It's either next week or in May. I
Oh.
am not a part of that planning process.
Okay.
That is Jessica and Lauren.
This is an interim position,
Okay.
despite the fact that I've been here for almost 2 years.
Jessica about that tomorrow.
Because
Yeah,
maybe
I'm not part of that.
Because maybe if you were rallying, you're going to have this town board thing and then you're trying to rally people for inventory. Maybe what we should start with is how to plant a quality tree, a single leader tree, so that people have an understanding of what constitutes the best way forward for a tree. And maybe set that up and have a special thing in early June or later in the year even, and see if that works. Instead of every tree is fabulous. And I would, if I may, do a follow-up on these elm trees at the aquatic center. I received my email that they were going to present to zoning, and I came here because I didn't understand why it had to be rezoned. And it was because more than 50% of the property is being changed. And I got up and they were showing a photograph looking north with the elm trees that I was talking about the last time. And they're looking at demoing that pool this summer. There's no guts in it anymore mechanically. They're going to demo that area. These two trees I walked through again last night. There's a codominant stem. That the codominant stem part is here when you're looking to take a picture. It is not a safe tree. It has no value. And the other one is a multi-stem tree with 4 stems coming out of it. And I would like to impress upon people that, why do you want this here? You're not going to have anything until the end of 2025 or the beginning of 2026. You're going to have 2 seasons of things throwing their seeds down. They're going to fail. And when you go into plant your new landscaping there, they're going to, when they fail, they're going to destroy that landscape. And it's not showing anything. If you want to have some height, can we put a flagpole in there? But take them down now so that they don't get torn up with the demo that's going to affect them. And, I do not understand how a design can prevail over operating costs in the future. You're going to have a takedown. You're going to have a destruction of the landscape. You're going to have a labor issue because you're going to be pulling elm seedlings out. You're going to have suckers coming out, whereas you could go in there, take a backhoe, rip it right out, and make sure that that's gone and you have a clean planting area. They're thinking, no, we're just going to keep them there. And I thought, of all the horrible trees, why are we keeping those? What trees are they keeping? The 2 set trees to the south of the pool, the existing pool, on the north side of the ditch. You want to see the pictures?
No, I don't.
There are 2 pictures. There are 2 of them there. They're on the north side of the ditch. And I said, no, we're going to keep them. Well, they will not serve, and they will only hinder the future. You could go in there, get everything demoed, start your excavation, know where everything's going to be set, and you could start a nice planting area, get it inoculated, all that good stuff, and have a nice clean start instead of putting new planting in harm's way by those trees that have no value other than they're tall. They're budded, they're about to bloom.
From your report on the design, these trees that Joanne was mentioning, did you have any comment on those particular trees?
Are you talking about the ones on the street side of the ditch?
They're on the south side. They're on the pool side of the ditch.
Isn't one of them?
You want to see the pictures?
Well, I thought one of them they're taking out.
No, it was because I asked them to bring the slide back up, and I said, these 2 trees, no. And they said, well, we're keeping them. And I thought, this is, you've got people, were they able to fill all the parks positions last year? When you have a labor issue, you're just going to be behind the curve forever and ever and ever.
Can I clarify something? Because I was also there.
Yes.
In the staff report, I think that the recommendation on the Siberian elms was to remove them over time so that you could introduce varying species of varying ages rather than clear cutting.
Well, my point is nobody's going to be there for 2 years.
No, I got you. I see what you're saying,
Yeah,
but the thing is, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it's senseless.
I'm just relating what the staff report, based on Carl's recommendation and the planning director's analysis. That was the recommendation that the design team was moving forward. And a lot of it was reaction to what happened at the Forest Service.
Yeah,
so
look
they're
at that tree
trying to
root.
appease community members in addition to trying to get this pool project underway.
This is not the right way to appease the community. And I have been going over to that tree. I have photographs basically every 3 days about those roots.
What the background
going away.
So,
those tree roots went on the side of the building like that, and they're all gone.
So then, well, let's get back. So Arbor Day, we got pretty well set. So this is Colorado Meadows?
I think, yeah, Colorado Meadows.
Okay.
I'll get us one tree tomorrow.
We'll get a PSA, we'll get this, get that.
But
then we have Dandelion Day. So we'll get a booth. Who do we contact?
I will not be available for Dandelion Day.
That's okay.
We already have the application in for the booth. That's already been set.
Okay, great.
The last year we got really lucky. We just brought stuff over from your place across the street,
we'll do the same
so I
thing.
think we'll just do that again. I'm going to
I'll be there.
assume that they're going to go ahead and put kind of like they call their nonprofit row kind of along that back the south side like last year. So it should be really easy for us to bring your things over.
How many trees are we good, Carl?
So in terms of trees that are going to be drawing raffle, whatever.
What do you think?
Definitely 2 at least. I mean, that seems pretty. So I don't have a lot of time to help people plant.
That's okay.
Plant them, so I don't want to do a lot, just to be honest with you guys. However, if we want to do more, if you guys wanted to help plant them, then I could get some more.
I think
that's kind
of what
did
we do last year. 3?
I think we did 2.
2?
Well, except we had a lot of those spruces too.
Yeah, I think we did 3. We did 2 crabs and
a spruce. Is that what we did?
Spruce.
Yeah.
And a pear tree.
Yep.
Whatever.
I would feel good with 2 if I'm
2 crabs.
The one following up with them and everything. Yeah, I'm good with 2.
2 crabs. Okay.
Are you?
Because I got to make the tickets up.
Yeah. Are you asking for the donation then from Eagle Crest again on those trees, or who do we ask?
I could. I think last year it came out of tree board.
Okay.
Budget.
What do you got? Number 5s?
They were little.
Yeah, I think so.
Will that come out of our whatever funds we have again? I mean that it's there for you to use.
Yeah, I think it could.
Okay.
I think
for us,
I think it could.
Okay. For us too.
Yeah.
So I guess as a part of our.
Because if we buy donuts, we buy it out of that fund too.
Okay.
Or bagels or whatever.
So last year we had 2 volunteers. As far as I know, I'm available for that day. I don't have anything planned other that would conflict. So I'm guessing Dan.
Yeah, I'm fine.
You're out of town or whatever. I don't know. You never know.
I'm on call,
yeah.
So like I can say I can try to be there for both weekends.
Well,
but
if you're in town, drop by.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah,
so we'll do it that way.
Same with the Arbor Day.
Yeah. Okay, cool. We have just a few minutes left here. We're over time, but hopefully all of you we'll just take a few minutes to talk about First Friday. It's kind of that time of year. earlier we were doing quite a bit of discussion around education, tree planting, and I'm wondering, can we do something that is kind of a demonstration at First Friday? Then, I mean, would it be something that we could, I don't know if on the plaza we would have opportunities, or could we simulate it with like a big bucket of sorts, or can we do an animation, or is there anything that would assist us to demonstrate planting? Could we use First Friday for that? Just kind of throwing it out there. Or do we want to use First Friday at all? We were at the June event, I remember.
It's a family one, I think.
Yeah, it's kind of fun. A lot of the kids come out. Do we want to do any other than June?
They're doing the fireball thing for the Rotary on May 3rd. I saw an ad for it.
What was it called?
And they do the fireball. I think it's called the fireball drop, the ball drop.
Oh.
They drop all these things out of.
Well, we still have, I mean, we still have this emerald ash borer, which I don't think a lot of people are paying attention to tell you the truth.
No, there's other things, yeah. But we could.
There's that part of it, and then any of the other educational stuff. I mean, like the May 3rd one works, First Friday works out pretty well because it's right before Arbor Day, so we can push Arbor Day, and then we can push Dandelion Day too.
Okay, and then the June one is the family one, so I think that's an important one for us to show up at, right? Let's go. By the way, that reminds me, we will only have our May meeting to talk about that June First Friday. Okay, so we'll put that on our agenda for May.
Okay.
Okay. And then we can talk about the other First Fridays going into the summer. If we want to do something later. Kay will not be here for the date that we would have our June meeting. And so I don't know if we'd have a substitute. We don't know.
We've done a tree walk or something in June.
Okay.
I don't think that Jessica's going to be available.
Okay. So June.
That's a good idea.
You want to do a tree walk?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The date?
I failed because it was so crappy.
I think that's a good idea. We do a tree walk in June, and then we open it to the public too, and we get another PSA and things in the Soper Sun.
Keep in mind, if we do a tree walk, we're really not doing board business, which would have been a discussion about First Friday.
Well, I can notice it. I mean, I am actually flying out of Denver the morning of June 20th, but I could get at least the agenda noticed.
Right.
You have to have that anyway.
Yeah, because we'll just say it's a public tree walk.
Okay, so the next time we meet, let's talk a little bit more about First Fridays throughout the summer.
Right.
Then, okay.
Right on track for those dying spirals.
1, 2, 3. It's June 20th. Okay.
But June 7th would be the first Friday, right?
Right. So we have to talk about May in our May meeting. Talk about our First Fridays. We think we're going to do. We're pretty sure we're going to do the family First Friday, the one in June, the first Friday in June. Then our board meeting and tree walk will be June 20th. So
and I'll be there for the May 3rd one because I can push Arbor Day at the May 3rd one.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And it's just that we won't be in a setting to do business decisions, board business decisions. So
okay, that's
cool. Table and some branches. You should be having some leaf out by then.
Mm-hmm.
I'll bring Carl's log over.
Yeah, I got the log D-shaped holes in it. Yep.
Those are the only items. Any other items that we are burning issues that can't think of anything. I'm Joanne with just a comment back to your observation with when you went to that meeting. I'm really curious, but I would really be interested to know if there was just a misinterpretation by that design group with some of that.
They want to keep it. And my point on this is I've been walking around town all winter and I've seen how many trees are gone. And I haven't heard one word from anybody. Not that I see anybody walking around all winter, but we have removed, town of Carbondale didn't do a damn thing. How many are gone?
Oh, ash trees?
Yeah.
At least 20 or something, you know.
Okay, so I think it's a little bit more than that, but that's a significant number, and they've been in the public. I know people who've had them removed out of their yards and they were aware of it. But just because it's there does not make it right. And you have two massive hazards on your hands here. It is a hazard. They are going to suffer more when they do excavation. You are going to have a labor issue. You are going to be compromising any future plantings because you are going to be shading them out. So you will be misshaping trees. So I do not understand what the allure is of, you know, if you're trying to plant today for tomorrow, which I keep on saying that's what we're here for. What is the point of keeping these trees that are trash trees, that are ill-formed, that are hazardous, that are taking up space in the space that you want to go and create a new planting? You could go in there, get rid of them this year on a demo. Nobody's going to notice because it's all going to be construction.
What I'm really curious about, and what I would be interested in clarifying, because it doesn't sound like this was a part of Carl's report or Carl's recommendations. So I'm just wondering.
We talked about
what I'm just trying to ask.
We covered.
Is that is there a potential that the person that responded to Joanne had some misinterpretation, and that they need to kind of be guided back to the original recommendations that Carl had? I mean, I'm just curious. I'm not trying to say that we need to fix something, but I'm wondering if that's a possibility, that they just didn't look more closely at what you had recommended, or for some reason it just kind of got outside their
aesthetics.
You know, I think a lot of what's going on is there's a lot of trees being removed on the Forest Service, and now as part of the aquatic center. So people are just heightened over tree removals, for better or for worse, you know. So that's why I think, like Kay was saying, I think they want it for some of those trees that are further over the side. They want to go towards a more phased out, like not just take everything else at once, for better or worse. But I think it's a reflection of the heightened emotions just around tree removals in general in that area.
And so I'm going to go back.
That's why.
But let's time out here. Yeah. We made our recommendation. It was pretty clear. Carl's made his recommendation is pretty clear. We're beating a dead horse.
Yeah.
We've given our recommendations to the Board of Trustees. It's gone to the parks. It's gone to planning and zoning, or it should have gone to planning and zoning.
That's what it was there last week. That's why I came as a private citizen.
But
I came as a private citizen to that meeting.
Gone to our to Jared, and that it's gone to Eric. They've got it. They've got our recommendations, and we've done our part.
Okay, yeah, that's what I think.
That's how I feel about it too.
Yeah. I'm just,
place your bets.
I'm just wondering. I mean, I don't know if we can bring anything more into this particular setting about that, because we've done all this work.
The only way that's going to be is if the Board of Trustees calls us to discuss that.
Okay, so
of everything that you could keep, they are two of the biggest examples of what a hazard tree constitutes, and you're about to keep them on a new project to destroy them when you could have so much better outcome, is my point.
Those two trees aren't even in the pool area.
That's part of where they're going.
It's outside of the pool area too. So they would have some reason to say, okay, let's look at this in the future.
Well, plenty elms all around it.
It does. I can totally understand, Joanne, why you looked at that and you're like, what? And we don't know why.
Bad stewardship.
But I think we also have this perspective, for better or for worse, and it's a really, it's a great way to summarize it. For better or for worse, we don't exactly know until the day of. So It might be there, it may be that they see the error and they fix it as they're going through this process. We're not sure yet. But I don't know that there's anything more that we can do as a tree board on this
To not
topic.
concentrate on those trees. All the other spruce trees along the fence though are coming down, right?
Yes.
That are in the fence,
Or the elms.
or the elms, I mean.
Yes, yes,
And the spruce trees
Spruce.
being cut down tomorrow.
yes.
If you
And the
didn't-
other
if
one's
you- if
gonna
you-
die a long, slow,
If you,
painful
if you
death.
didn't know, I don't know.
Which one is
The big spruce tree that's on that
It's on
property,
on the pool
It's
property.
inside.
Oh, okay.
by the
Yeah.
fence,
Nobody will
right
notice
there.
a thing.
Yeah.
That one's gonna be gone tomorrow.
Well, I think actually, we should probably adjourn since we're kind
Sure,
of sharing
sure.
a lot of anecdotal stuff here, but we're at the end of our allotted time. Motion to adjourn, please.
I make a motion.
Okay. Got a second? Okay, thank you.
Hey.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Yeah, this is really interesting discussion, and I think that's what you were saying about